Good morning again and welcome to Thursday's writing video, our fourth writing lesson this week. As always, you know the drill. Have a go at the nasty writing task first before you start the writing task for today. Today is about semicolons again, which I know was the nasty writing task a couple of days ago. Can you remember from Tuesday when we did the semicolon nasty writing task what we said you use semicolons for? Have a little think. Let's have a look at the answer. To separate two independent clauses or sentences. So if you've got two clauses or sentences that make sense on their own, you can separate them with a full stop, you can join them with a conjunction, or you can separate them with a semicolon, as long as they're about the same topic. So today, it's about another use for semicolons, which is using semicolons in more detailed lists. We have talked about all of this in school before, so I'm sure it's ringing some bells. And then you need to write some sentences trying to use semicolons correctly. So have a go at that first. And then today, for our time capsule writing task, we are creating an article which is reporting on an interview you have done. So what I'd like you to do is interview someone at home. So it could be an adult in the home or an older sibling, or you could even interview a relative or a friend over the phone or on Zoom, if your parents are okay with you doing that. And on the website, there is a template where you can note down their answers. So there's some suggested questions to ask your adult, or your friend or your sibling, and then you can just make a note of their answers here. So it's almost like a plan, really. This isn't the finished piece of writing. This is just something I thought you could use to structure your questions and what your interviewee thinks and feels about their experience of lockdown. You can print that off, or you could just use some of the ideas on it and make notes in your own book. And then, as usual, we've got the checklist with all the things you need to try and remember to include in your actual writing. So, I've got my checklist, I've got my I saw a wubub and my fanboy conjunctions to help me with my writing. I think I said yesterday that if you go to the website, here we are, Lockdown Learning, bit of alliteration there, and oops, it's a bit hard to do it on the board actually, sorry. Let me see if I can go down like that. There you go. And, excuse me, where you've got all the different year groups daily learning, at the bottom you've got writing support at home. And this is where you can find writing resources. Now this is in the process, as I speak, of being updated and sorted out. So year 5 and 6 support is here. And I'm pre-recording this, so by the time you watch this video, it will all be here, as if by magic. And what we will have there are things you can click on to help you with your writing. So we should have these mats on there, because obviously these are things you may not have at home, and a mat maybe with relative pronouns to help you to write relative clauses, maybe a mat with useful adjectives, useful adverbs, fronted adverbials, those kinds of things. So that should all be there for you by the time you do this lesson. So don't forget to use those resources to help you. I'm going to start with a short introduction about who I interviewed, and then I'm going to have different paragraphs for each topic I'm going to write about. So you could have subheadings if you like, just to break those up. For example, I've got here top 3 moments, because it's not all doom and gloom, is it? There are lots of positive experience as well that people probably will want to talk about with you. And then I need to include some reported speech so that I can write about what my interviewees told me in an interesting way. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I've got some year 6 punctuation and language features that I want to try and include. So I'm going to start with my introduction, because I sometimes think that is the hardest thing to do, to get started. So I interviewed Miss Hills. I talked to Miss Hills a little bit. And so in my introduction, I'm just going to explain about who I interviewed and why. And really, it's because I wanted to find out more about my colleagues' experiences during lockdown as well. So rather than having I interviewed Miss Hills as my opening sentence, because it's a bit boring, isn't it? I'm actually going to, rather than say I interviewed Miss Hills because, I'm going to twist my word order around and put the subordinating clause at the beginning, because I think we've talked about that a lot in school. It's good to change the order of your sentences around, to just vary your writing and make it a bit more interesting, a bit more cohesive for the writer. So I'm going to start with my subordinating clause. Oh, I don't really want purple. I'm not editing. I'm going to use black because I think it shows up better for you at home. Because I wanted to find out about other people's experiences during lockdown. Because I wanted to find out about, I'm just going to write about others' experiences actually. That sounds a bit more concise. I interviewed Miss Hills about her personal experience. I'm always aware that you've got a view at this point of the back of my head and whatever top I'm wearing that day, so sorry about that. Let's see if I need any punctuation in that sentence to separate clauses. Because I wanted to find out about others' experiences in lockdown, I interviewed Miss Hills about her personal experience. So I think I need a comma here. Sorry, it's not exactly in the right place. Let me try that again. Hang on, let me move this little bit of writing. Whoops. This little bit of writing out the way. My class are probably watching this thinking, oh, so what's new? Mrs. Johnson having issues with the board. There you go, comma. So that's now separating my subordinating clause from my main clause. And I've put my subordinating clause at the beginning of the sentence to make it a bit more interesting for the reader. Because I wanted to find out about others' experiences in lockdown, I interviewed Miss Hills about her personal experience. I feel like I need some more on the end of the sentence there. Over the past few months. Okay, so that's my introduction. And now I'm going to think about some subheadings for my different paragraphs. So one idea I had, remember to leave a space, was challenges, because I'm sure lots of people will have found aspects of lockdown life challenging. Another subheading I thought I might include is a bit more alliteration here. Lessons learned. So anything people have learned about themselves or about other people or about life in general during lockdown. What else could I have as another paragraph? I think I put here, oh, I haven't put how many paragraphs you need to write actually, so 2 would probably be enough. If you really wanted to write more, you could write 3 paragraphs. It's up to you really. It depends in some ways what information your interviewee gives you, doesn't it? Another one I might have at the bottom is sort of something more positive, like I had here top 3 moments. I could have highlights, happy memories, or something like that. So I'm not going to write about this bit now. I'm going to leave that bit and I'm going to show you how I might start writing about lessons learned from the notes I've made from talking to Miss Hills. So I'm going to start with Miss Hills told me. Now here, look, this is where I'm doing my reported speech. Because rather than putting Miss Hills said, inverted commas, and then just writing what she said, I'm reporting what she said. So I don't need inverted commas. Miss Hills told me that she had, now what did she say? Let me just check. She had really advanced her, I'm just going to put tech for short. I think I said this yesterday as well. She had really advanced her tech skills due to all the online work she was doing. And as I said, I think a lot of teachers have said the same thing over the past few months. So I'm going to add a relative clause, so I need my comma. And if I can't remember what a relative clause is, don't forget I can go to the Writing Support at Home section of the website, which seems to be a common theme for teachers. So I think lots of teachers are saying to me, oh my goodness, I'm so much better with technology now because of all the things I've had to do in lockdown, which seems to be a common theme for teachers. Now, the reason I've left a gap here is because I don't think it's particularly the best start for my sentence. Miss Hills told me. So I'm thinking I might put a fronted adverbial at the beginning here, just to make the start of my writing a bit more, the start of that paragraph a bit more interesting. So I'll need a comma because I'm going to write a fronted adverbial. And because I'll have talked about here, I've got my introduction, and then I'm going to have challenges, so things that Miss Hills has found a bit difficult during lockdown. So then, to contrast, I'm going to say, whoops, oh no, I can still use black, sorry, on a positive note. So I'm linking this paragraph to this paragraph by using a fronted adverbial. So challenges, things she's found difficult. On a positive note, Miss Hills told me that she had really advanced her tech skills due to all the online work she was doing, which seems to be a common theme for teachers. Okay, so I've already used a subordinating conjunction. I've already used some relative clauses, so I'm doing quite well with my checklist. I just need to see if I can fit in some of the semicolons now from today's nasty writing task. Okay, so have fun with that today. As always, don't forget to send your teachers any work you've completed. They'd love to see it, and I'll see you again tomorrow.